Peace tribe, what's good? It's another day in beautiful California. This is Young Black and Vegan. I'm your host, Keith Terrell. Yo, it's always nice when you come home and there's a package waiting, so we're gonna take this inside, see what's in it, and then we're gonna go get a workout, get some good food, so let's go check this out. All right, let's see what this is. So, while I'm getting ready for this, I was living in Atlanta for 5 years, and then I've been back in LA for the last little bit over a year, and we don't have 24-hour fitnesses in Atlanta. So before I left, the gyms actually stayed open 24 hours a day, and now that I come back, a lot of the gyms that are supposed to be 24-hour fitness close early, which is kind of wild. And the ones closest to me are dirty, overcrowded. So I usually drive to one in the valley, but they close early, sometimes at like 8 p.m. So I'm actually like looking for another gym. Oh, dope. And this is perfect timing for this package. We got some headphones, noise canceling. We're gonna make use of these right now going to the gym. So shout out to BOSE for the Quiet Comfort Headphones that they sent me to check out. And we're gonna test and see how good the noise canceling is.
The BOSE Quiet Comfort Headphones have legendary noise cancellation, allowing you to do what you need to do completely uninterrupted. With Bose sound, your music sounds great. And the BOSE Quiet Comfort Headphones have plush ear cups that softly hug your ears so they're comfortable enough to wear all day.
I came up in the conflict, for killing with soul for content, hostility constant. Money is move shit like incontinence, make money move back and forth between continents. Watch your speech cause niggas get geeked about the heat over using your vowels and consonants. Cause the hood is full of hostages, death, financial bondages, so don't get swept in less than 5 games.
Just got in a solid chest workout. This was day one. And I've been working out here and there, but definitely not as consistent as I like to be. So I'm counting this as day one, really getting back on my routine. And if you haven't been in the gym, if you started some New Year's resolutions and you fell off, if you jump back on them and you fell off again and jump back on them and fell off again, don't be afraid to have as many day ones as you need. Start again today. If you don't start today, start tomorrow. But just get it in, walk to the gym, nice little pre-workout, and that allows me time to, one, get some vitamin D, which is extremely important that we get outside and get some sunlight. If you have been feeling depressed, or if you have felt depressed in the past, a lot of times that has to do with not getting enough sunlight. And there's supplements for that, but talk to your healthcare provider about that. And take the time to get outside and get in some sunlight on the skin. It's a beautiful day out here in Cali. So that was my day one. Good chest workout. First time that I got to try out these BOSE headphones, and I have to say that I'm definitely impressed with noise cancellation. Didn't hear anything in the gym so far. These check out. Definitely going to try them out in some different environments, coffee shops where it's typically loud music playing and people talking, at least at the ones that I go to. But started off the workout on the stair climber, which, the stair climber is no joke. Good warm up. I was listening to Seven Bomar while I was walking on the stairs, and he was talking about like the perfect relationship. So it was all about relationships, and that's kind of like the conversation that I've been having with people lately has been around relationships. And he was saying that, like, if you are with somebody or you're dating someone and they're trying to change you, then that's I hate to use the word like red flag because that's just thrown around, but it's kind of true. If somebody is trying to change you or you're modifying who you are for someone, then you have to question if that person is honestly for you, because at the end of the day, we all chose this life and the circumstances and situations that we will endure to help teach us something so we can advance spiritually. And he was kind of talking about, like, say you're dating someone and the dude is like, I don't want you to see or talk to Johnny anymore. Then becomes like a tit for tat thing. So you might stop talking to Johnny, but in the grand scheme of things, Johnny might have been somebody that you chose to help you learn something on your life path. And the way that this thing is, it runs cosmically, you might not run back into that soul for like another 3,000 years, which that's a whole nother way of thinking if you believe in reincarnation, which I kind of was alluding to in the last video or last couple of videos I was talking about. But yeah, relationships, you know, he said, how do you know that someone truly loves you or you truly love someone? And it's, you're not trying to change anything about that person and they're not trying to change anything about you. And for me, the relationship that I'm in now, that's what we're both experiencing. And as I mentioned before, I wasn't ready for this relationship before last year. Last year was a lot of internal work that had to happen and external as well, as far as relationships. So it was a lot of work with the dynamics of the relationships in my family, namely really, having these conversations with my mom and healing that relationship. And, you know, once I did that work, that opened me up to the space to, attract this relationship, which I'm glad that I didn't attract it before, because if we would have met last year, she would have definitely met a dope version of myself. But when I when we met each other, now she's getting like the best version of me that I've ever been. And I can notice even things in the relationship and interactions, certain things I might have reacted to differently in the past. But, it's just dope to be with somebody who is really rocking with you, which I wasn't really finding that with a lot of the women I was running into when I was back in Atlanta, back here in LA. Not that they were bad women, they were like cool, but we weren't completely aligned. And when you find that puzzle piece that actually fits in the puzzle perfectly, there's nothing like it. And it's wild too with relationships how sometimes your ops can come through your moms and your pops. I'll say that again. Sometimes your ops can come through your moms and your pops, or they might be blood relatives. And for me, like I make a distinction between relatives and family. I got a lot of relatives that are related like by blood, but the people that I consider family are some of those relatives, but a very few amount. But I consider the family like a lot of the soul relationships that I've been meeting, over the last few years, traveling, and relationships that I've had, friendships that I've had for over 20 years. So yeah, I'll actually link that Seven Bomar video in the description. It's a really good video, just how to attract the perfect relationship, or what is the perfect relationship. What up, tribe? So I'm back at the crib, about to shower, get a protein shake in, but I cut the last part of the video off and also wanted to talk about imposter syndrome. And it still goes with the theme of relationships, because the most important relationship that you have is always the relationship with yourself, or, the most important relationship that we have is the relationships that we have with ourselves, right? And I'm looking at Young Black and Vegan is going on 4 years now that I've been doing this show, and it took those 4 years
for me to start doing these vlogs where it's just me talking to the camera. And if you look at the very first episodes of Young Black and Vegan, you didn't see a lot of me. I would make sure that when I edited the episodes, mostly you would see the guest. And that was because, even though I was vegan for a number of years, I think when the show started, it had to be, 6 years or something like that. So I've been a vegan for about 10 years. I think that math is right. And I still, I wasn't a vegan chef. I definitely wasn't considering myself a vegan influencer or any of that. It was just the lifestyle that I was living. So there, in the back of my mind, there was a little imposter syndrome to an extent, but I still like made the show and made the content. And here we are 4 years later. Talking to a camera, just by yourself is a weird thing in general. It's not necessarily something that we would naturally do. And I actually like having conversations with people because you can bounce off of each other, pause, and, see where the conversation goes. But, you know, as I'm coming into this next chapter and season of life, I've learned a lot along the journey, so I feel, more comfortable sharing and speaking to the camera. And those 4 years before that, I was doing the show with the interviews, that was all practicing and getting in my reps for speaking. And, I never had a fear really of public speaking, but I took a lot of speech classes back when I was in college, and that was one of the number one fears that they talk about that a lot of people have is the fear of public speaking. And thankfully that never was an issue, but still, like YouTube and social media, the internet, that's a whole nother type of public speaking. So, I say all that to say that whatever it is that you might be considering doing, man, you just got to start. And, you get better over time. The thing about it is, most people are not looking at your stuff anyway, especially the people that like you are friends and family with, depending on who you are. But for the most part, those people might like support and watch in the beginning. But, you know, out of all of the followers and subscribers that I have and people that I know in the world, is very, very, very few that actually reach out and let me know that they either watching the show, they got something from it, or even sharing the content. And I definitely don't take that stuff personal. A lot of people take that stuff personal, but I say that to say, like, whatever it is that you want to create or that you've been thinking about doing, just do it, because everybody is in their own world, own universe, and you got to be doing it for the right reasons. If you're doing it just for certain people to like it and gravitate towards it, and you want that dopamine hit of that like, then you can do that. But if you're doing it because it's something that you feel is in your heart to do, to make, to create something, to say something, to write something, then just start. And you got to get your reps in regardless. It might not, you might have this grand vision of where you want to take something, but it doesn't happen overnight for anybody. Even if it seems that way, people are putting in the reps behind the scenes. So, yeah, get started. Maybe that's your motivation or your nudge or your confirmation. You've been thinking about doing something. Maybe you want to start a YouTube channel, a podcast. You want to do an album, write a book, anything. Just get started and set the time aside to do it. Back to the challenge that I posed on the last video, which was deleting social media off of our phones so we can really reclaim our time and like pay attention to where we're spending it. Like that will, you'll notice how much time you save and you get back by just doing that small thing, which is deleting apps off your phone, because you're creating an extra step to have to go either re-download it and put your passwords back in, or go on a computer and do it. And that gives you that extra
buffer time or buffer period to think like, do I really need to go and do this? And we can reinvest this time that we are essentially like getting back or reclaiming into ourselves, whether that is into, creating something, whether it's just getting outside, taking a walk, talking to loved ones, reading a book. That's something for sure. Like, I used to read a lot more, and I still read a lot, but not as much as I used to. And I'm finding the time now that I have the apps off of the phone, that I'm just taking the time, I'm picking up books and, reading a lot more, listening to a lot more podcasts and audio books. And so for me, that is something like when I talked about the destiny cards in the previous video. And if you don't know what the destiny cards are, really briefly, destiny cards or cards of your destiny are like the playing cards that we have. That's like the first astrological and calendar system. So based on your birthday, we all have a card or two cards, your birth card and what's called your planetary ruling card. And each card has characteristics about you, and it also talks about the work that you have to do. So that's one part of the system. And my birth card is a queen of clubs, which means that I'm a lover of knowledge, and like I'm always gonna be seeking out the perfect knowledge. So I'm always reading books, and seeking to learn, having these conversations with different experts, and historians, because that's how I'm wired. And yeah, so being able to get back and pick up books now, I'm feeding into a part of me and how I'm wired. And with all of these distractions, they really are keeping us away from like really deep diving into ourselves and learning more about ourselves and what we are here to do. And before you know it, you look and 5 years has passed, 10 years, 15 years, and the older you get, then the less motivation you might have to do something. You might feel like the time has passed you by, but in reality, that's a self-imposed or programmed way of thinking. If you're still alive, you still got time to do whatever it is you want to do. So that's my spiel right there, a little spiel on hopefully you like forgetting about imposter syndrome. Easier said than done, but just get started. So even if you don't press upload to a video, or publish to something that you wrote, or share a song, get the reps in and do it. You can always choose not to share it and just keep it. And the more that you do it and get into the routine, the more comfortable you will be. And then you might get to a place, if you're not already there, to share that stuff. But then don't get caught up in the whole going back and checking to see who has liked it, and are people responding. Like, that's something else that's taking away time. And as artists, and I'm speaking as an artist, you might not feel that you are an artist, but whatever it is that you're thinking about creating, you know, our job is not to, we can't control the response from the world or the audience. We're pretty much just adding to the collective, and, using who we are, what we've experienced. We're drawing from all of, you know, our entire lives to create something and put it into the world. And it might affect somebody after you are gone, and you might not ever know, but you still did your part and you put it out. So that's what I wanted to talk about, that was on my mind. So hopefully you got something from it. Let me know in the comments, and yeah, just keeps it real.